What would you do if, one morning, you woke up and your legs no longer listened to you? Not in a dramatic, movie scene kind of way, but quietly, gradually. A little more stiffness. A little less balance. A slow retreat from freedom. One unsteady step at a time. We often talk about aging like it's just a number. But let me ask you this. What good is wisdom, if the body that carries it is no longer free to move? Across the United States, millions of older adults are silently losing strength in their legs, and they don't realize it until it's too late. This isn't just about muscles. It's about mobility. About independence. About walking across the kitchen without holding onto a chair. Or standing up from bed without fearing a fall. And the scary truth? It's not just old age doing this. It's often something far more subtle, the slow erosion of nutrition, movement, and muscle memory that begins long before the walker or wheelchair shows up. I met Tom last summer, a retired firefighter, 72 years old, tough as nails, heart of gold. He told me, "I used to carry people out of burning buildings. Now I need help getting out of a chair." His story wasn't dramatic. No stroke. No accident. Just a quiet, creeping fatigue in his legs. He stopped taking morning walks. Then stopped going to the garden. And one day, he slipped in the bathroom, and didn't have the strength to pull himself back up. After a few tests, the doctor found it wasn't disease. It was deficiency. He was lacking the nutrients his body needed to maintain the strength he once took for granted. Here's what I've learned from stories like Tom's. Strength doesn't disappear overnight. It fades when we stop feeding it. Not just with exercise, but with the right fuel, the right vitamins, the right kind of care. Your body is wiser than you think. It's trying to adapt, trying to heal, trying to stand tall. But it needs your help, and it needs it now, not after the first fall. So where do we begin? With a nutrient that comes not from a pill bottle, but from the sun. A vitamin so essential, it affects your balance, your reflexes, even your ability to catch yourself before you fall. It's one of the most common deficiencies in older adults, yet one of the easiest to fix. Let's take our first real step towards stronger legs, by uncovering the power of vitamin D. There's something sacred about the morning sun. It warms the skin, lifts the soul, and quietly gives life to something most of us don't even think about, our strength. But as we age, that simple connection to sunlight fades. We stay indoors more. Our skin becomes less efficient at absorbing its gifts. And without realizing it, we drift into a quiet deficiency, one that steals not only our vitality, but our ability to move freely. Vitamin D isn't just a bone vitamin like most people think. It's a foundational hormone that influences how your muscles contract, how your nerves communicate, and how fast your reflexes respond when you stumble. It supports fast-twitch muscle fibers, the ones responsible for balance and stability. And when your body doesn't have enough, your legs may feel slower, weaker, less trustworthy. That's not just age. That's your body running low on sunlight's most precious gift. I once spoke with a woman named Linda, 69 years old, a former yoga instructor who hadn't practiced in nearly a decade. She said, "I thought I was just getting old. I lost my balance a few times, started having knee pain, and figured, well, that's what happens after 65. But her doctor ran a few tests and found her vitamin D levels were dangerously low. Within a month of daily supplementation, safe sun exposure, and a few dietary changes, she felt the difference. My legs woke up, she told me. It felt like I had been living in a fog, and someone just turned the lights back on." Studies have shown that older adults with healthy vitamin D levels have stronger muscles, better coordination, and fewer falls. It helps reduce inflammation in muscle tissue, soothing stiffness and pain many seniors accept as normal. And here's the kicker, vitamin D also plays a role in mood and immunity, two things that, when weakened, only make mobility issues harder to face. This one vitamin isn't just about your bones. It's about your confidence, your independence, your ability to say yes to life, without worrying if your legs will say no. So what can you do? Step into the sunlight for 15 to 30 minutes a day, morning or late afternoon is best. Add fatty fish like salmon or mackerel to your meals. Don't skip the egg yolks. Mushrooms. Fortified milk. And if you're mostly indoors or live in northern climates? Talk to your doctor about a simple blood test and consider a vitamin D3 supplement. Most older adults need 800 to 1000 IU per day, sometimes more. This is not guesswork. It's a simple fix that can change everything. The truth is, you don't have to feel fragile. You don't have to accept wobbly steps as your new normal. With a little sunshine, and the right support, your legs can become steady again. Strong again. Yours again. Vitamin D is just the beginning, but it's a beautiful one. And now, we move from sunlight to the mineral that holds your frame together. Because while vitamin D helps you absorb the strength, it's calcium that builds it, bone by bone, step by step. Let's explore the next key to leg power, the quiet strength of calcium. There's a saying we don't hear enough: you don't appreciate your bones until one of them breaks. Our bones are like the quiet pillars of a house, holding everything in place, giving structure, letting us move, carry, lift, dance. And yet, we rarely think about them. That is, until we slip. Until we hear a crack. Until something we once took for granted, like standing up without help, becomes a daily struggle. But here's what might surprise you. Calcium isn't just about preventing fractures. It's a lifeline for both your bones and your muscles, and it plays a much bigger role in leg strength than most people realize. When you think of calcium, your mind probably jumps to bones, and rightfully so. But every time your leg muscles contract, when you take a step, rise from a chair, or catch your balance, it's calcium acting behind the scenes. Calcium ions literally signal your muscles to move. Without enough of it, movements become weak, shaky, or simply don't happen the way they used to. That's why a calcium deficiency doesn't just lead to brittle bones, it leads to muscle cramps, sluggishness, and that all too familiar sense of your legs feeling heavy. I remember a story from a woman named Sharon. She was 66, lively, loved gardening, and had never broken a bone in her life, until the day she tripped in her kitchen. A minor fall. A fractured hip. What followed was months of physical therapy, setbacks, and the painful realization that her calcium levels had been low for years, but no one had ever told her. She thought her diet was fine. She drank milk sometimes. Took multivitamins occasionally. But her body wasn't absorbing enough calcium, and no one had ever checked. It felt like something so small had taken away something so big, she said. My independence. As we get older, our bodies become less efficient at absorbing calcium from food. That's why it's important to be proactive. Yes, dairy like milk, yogurt, and cheese are classic calcium sources, but they're not the only ones. Leafy greens like kale and bok choy, tofu, almonds, sardines, and fortified plant-based milks can also provide what your bones and muscles need. And here's the key. Calcium needs vitamin D to be absorbed properly. So they're a team. One without the other is like a car with no gas. And it's not just about what you eat, it's also about how you move. Weight-bearing exercises, like walking, gentle strength training, even dancing, help direct calcium into your bones where it belongs. Without movement, calcium can settle in the wrong places, like arteries and joints, causing stiffness or other issues. So the real secret isn't just consuming calcium. It's using it. Living with it. Moving with it. Bones stay strong not by standing still, but by being invited into action. If you've ever looked at a staircase and thought, I'm not sure I can make it, or avoided a walk because your knees felt unstable. Maybe it's not weakness. Maybe it's just your body asking for support, in the form of calcium, vitamin D, and a little daily motion. You don't have to feel like your frame is crumbling. With the right care, your bones can carry you with strength, grace, and dignity, well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. But bones are only part of the story. Because even the strongest frame needs clear communication to move. And that communication? It comes from your nerves. In the next section, we'll explore a powerful yet often forgotten vitamin that keeps those nerves sharp, your legs responsive, and your balance in check. Let's talk about vitamin B12, and why it could be the missing link in your mobility. It's one of the most frustrating feelings in the world, when your mind says move, but your body responds. Slowly, weakly, or not at all. Maybe you've felt it. That delay in your legs when you stand. That awkward shuffle instead of a steady step. That moment where you're not sure if your foot will follow through. And often, we tell ourselves, well, I'm just getting older. But what if it's not age? What if it's your nerves quietly misfiring? Because your body is running low on something it desperately needs, vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 isn't just another nutrient on a label. It's the messenger of movement. It protects the coating, called the myelin sheath, that surrounds your nerves. And that coating is what allows electrical signals to flow swiftly and smoothly from your brain to your muscles. Without enough B12? Those signals slow down, fizzle out, or get misdirected. And that's when the legs start to feel heavy, tired, numb, or unsteady. A man named James once shared his story with me. He was 74, a retired electrician, and he'd noticed something strange. He started tripping more often. His legs felt stiff, even after rest. His doctor initially blamed arthritis. But James wasn't convinced. So he got a second opinion, and discovered his vitamin B12 levels were dangerously low. Within weeks of starting B12 injections, things began to shift. His balance returned. His stride grew stronger. And for the first time in months, he said, "I feel connected to my legs again." B12 deficiency is surprisingly common in older adults. As we age, our stomachs produce less acid, and that acid is necessary to extract B12 from food. Add in medications for heartburn or reflux, and the absorption gets even worse. And if you follow a mostly plant-based diet, the risk grows higher still, since B12 is found almost exclusively in animal products like meat, fish, dairy, and eggs. That's why many seniors experience the symptoms of B12 deficiency for years, without ever knowing what's truly behind them. Here's the beautiful part. Vitamin B12 is easy to check, and even easier to treat. A simple blood test can show your levels. And if they're low, your doctor might suggest daily oral supplements or periodic B12 shots, especially if absorption is an issue. The good news? B12 is water-soluble, meaning your body takes what it needs, and lets go of the rest. It's safe, effective, and often life-changing. You are not disconnected. Your legs have not betrayed you. Your balance isn't gone forever. Sometimes, all your body needs is a little help remembering how to communicate. And vitamin B12 is one of the most powerful reminders you can give it. Because strength isn't just about muscle. It's about the messages we send to our bodies, and the ones we choose to listen to, now that we've restored the signals between your brain and your legs. Let's talk about the mineral that makes those muscles respond, the one that calms spasms, eases cramps, and brings peace back to your body. Up next, magnesium, the quiet regulator your legs have been craving. There's a difference between feeling tired and feeling drained. One you can fix with rest. The other? It's deeper. It's when your body feels stiff, your legs feel heavy, and even after a good night's sleep, you wake up exhausted. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. And you're not weak. You may simply be missing something invisible but essential, a quiet mineral that keeps your muscles calm, your nerves steady, and your legs moving smoothly. It's called magnesium, and it could be the difference between walking with power or walking in pain. Magnesium is the master conductor of your muscular system. Every time your leg muscles contract or relax, from taking a step to climbing stairs, magnesium is at work. It helps regulate nerve signals, prevent spasms, and control involuntary twitching or cramping. Without enough of it, you may feel tense, restless, like your muscles are on edge. That's why many seniors who struggle with nighttime leg cramps, restless leg syndrome, or chronic tightness often discover that magnesium is the missing piece. I once met a man named Harold, 71, former teacher, kind soul. He told me, every night around 2 a.m., my calves would seize up. I'd jump out of bed like I stepped on fire. It went on for months. He tried stretching, drinking more water, even changing his mattress. But nothing worked, until a routine blood test revealed his magnesium levels were dangerously low. His doctor recommended magnesium glycinate, a gentle form of supplementation, and within a week, the cramps were gone. It was like someone turned off the alarm in my legs, he smiled. So why is magnesium deficiency so common? Because stress, medications, aging, and even processed foods drain it from your system. And many medications used by older adults, like diuretics, antacids, or blood pressure pills, quietly deplete magnesium over time. Add in a diet low in magnesium-rich foods, like leafy greens, pumpkin seeds, almonds, or avocados, and you've got a perfect recipe for chronic exhaustion. But the good news? Magnesium is easy to replenish. Start by adding more whole foods. A handful of almonds in the afternoon. A side of sautéed spinach with dinner. Half an avocado with your eggs in the morning. And if needed, gentle supplementation, magnesium citrate or glycinate, can help restore your body's natural rhythm. This isn't about curing everything overnight. It's about giving your legs what they need to relax, recover, and respond with strength again. You deserve to rest without pain. You deserve to move without feeling like your legs are fighting you. Magnesium may be silent, but its absence is loud. So if your legs have been crying out in tension, in tightness, in fatigue, maybe it's time to listen in a new way. Because sometimes, the most powerful support doesn't shout. It whispers. And magnesium is the whisper that says, you've still got strength. Let me help you find it again. But magnesium doesn't act alone. There's another mineral, just as vital, that works hand in hand with it to maintain muscle control, prevent cramps, and balance your body's inner signals. A mineral that helps every muscle fiber fire in harmony. Let's talk about potassium, and why your legs might be begging for more of it. You don't realize how much trust you place in your legs. Until one day, they don't follow your lead. That split second when your knee gives way. When your foot drags just enough to trip you. When your calf cramps so hard it feels like it has a mind of its own. It shakes more than just your balance. It shakes your confidence. And so often, that quiet unraveling isn't caused by weakness or injury. It's caused by something much simpler, something that has everything to do with communication inside your body. And that's where potassium comes in. Potassium is your body's electrical messenger. It helps regulate fluid balance inside your cells, keeps nerve signals sharp, and allows your muscles to contract, and just as importantly, to relax. Without enough potassium, your legs don't get clear instructions. Muscles misfire. Cramping begins. Movements become shaky, uncoordinated, or delayed. That's why potassium is absolutely essential for muscle control, especially in the legs, where strength and stability can mean the difference between standing tall and falling hard. I remember speaking with Carolyn, a 70-year-old retired librarian. She told me she started having this strange trembling in her legs, especially after standing too long in the kitchen. One day, while gardening, her leg locked up mid-step and she collapsed right onto the lawn. After checking her blood pressure, cholesterol, and heart, everything seemed normal. But a simple blood test revealed she had low potassium levels. Carolyn started making changes: sweet potatoes, bananas, spinach, beans. Within weeks, the tremor stopped. And so did the fear. I thought I was losing control, she said. Turns out, I just needed to feed my muscles the right message. Potassium doesn't just support muscles, it supports the rhythm of your entire body. It helps prevent excess acid from breaking down bone density. Keeps your heartbeat steady. And acts as a partner to magnesium, ensuring muscles aren't overfiring or locking up. But here's the issue. Potassium is one of the most underconsumed minerals in the American diet. Why? Because processed foods, which dominate many daily meals, are low in potassium but high in sodium, creating an imbalance that leaves your muscles overstimulated and undernourished. So how do we fix it? Nature has already given us the answer. Bananas are famous, sure, but there's so much more. Sweet potatoes, avocados, beans, lentils, oranges, and even baked potatoes with the skin are potassium gold mines. Aim for variety. Add one potassium-rich food to each meal. Hydrate well. And for those on medications or with kidney conditions, always check with your doctor before increasing potassium. Your safety comes first. Your legs are listening. Every step, every stride, every small victory against the pull of time, they're waiting for your guidance. And potassium? It's not just a mineral. It's the spark, the unseen force that lets your muscles respond with grace, steadiness, and confidence. So if you've felt unsteady, if your legs have trembled or your energy has dipped, maybe it's not just age. Maybe it's time to send the right signal back. Because strength isn't always about effort, sometimes, it's about clarity. Now that we've reignited the spark in your muscles, let's make sure that spark lands in the right place. Because there's one more critical vitamin, a kind of traffic controller, that tells your calcium where to go, protects your arteries, and keeps your bones resilient. Up next, vitamin K, the forgotten guardian of strong, flexible legs. We spend our whole lives learning how to stand tall, to walk with confidence, to hold ourselves steady, in body, in spirit. And yet, as we age, that strength can slowly erode. Not from lack of courage or willpower, but because our bones and joints are no longer being guided where they need to go. You've likely heard of calcium and vitamin D. But without vitamin K, they don't always end up in the right place. And when calcium travels to the wrong places, like your arteries instead of your bones, it can lead to stiffness, inflammation, even cardiovascular issues. Vitamin K is the quiet guardian behind it all, the forgotten guide that keeps your legs strong, flexible, and safe. Think of vitamin K as a traffic controller in your body. It helps direct calcium into the bones, where it belongs, and keeps it out of soft tissues where it can do harm. It activates a protein called osteocalcin, which binds calcium into your bone matrix, making bones more dense, more stable, and less prone to fracture. But it doesn't stop there. Vitamin K also plays a role in muscle coordination, joint flexibility, and preventing inflammation, especially in areas like the knees, a spot many older adults struggle with daily. Mary, 68, used to walk 5 miles a day, until her knees started locking up. Her doctor prescribed pain meds. But nothing really helped until a specialist reviewed her blood work and discovered something unexpected. Her vitamin K levels were low. She began adding dark leafy greens to her meals: kale, collard greens, spinach, and introduced a small K2 supplement. Within 2 months, she wasn't just moving easier, she was walking confidently again. "I didn't know food could change my knees," she said. "But I guess. Sometimes the smallest things make the biggest difference." There are 2 main forms of vitamin K. K1, found mostly in leafy greens. K2, found in fermented foods, cheeses, and egg yolks. Both are important, but K2 is especially powerful for bone strength and calcium regulation, and it stays in your system longer. Most people don't get enough K2 in their diet, simply because we don't eat as many fermented or whole animal-based foods anymore. And while vitamin K deficiency is often silent, its effects aren't. Stiff joints, fragile bones, and calcium building up where it shouldn't. To protect your legs, your bones, and your heart, consider this. Eat your greens daily, raw or cooked. Add a serving of natto, sauerkraut, or a slice of aged cheese once in a while. And if you're on medications like blood thinners, talk to your doctor first, because vitamin K plays a role in blood clotting, and your intake may need to be monitored. But don't ignore it. Because when calcium is guided correctly, when joints are protected, when bones are fortified, you don't just move better. You live better. You've come so far. You've learned how to feed your muscles, your bones, your nerves, your balance, but now, it's time to protect the whole system. Vitamin K reminds us that strength isn't just about power, it's about precision. The right support. The right direction. The right moment. And when you give your body the wisdom it needs, your legs become more than limbs. They become pillars of freedom. Of independence. Of the life you still get to walk, one strong, steady step at a time. Now that we've explored all 7 nutrients, you may be wondering, where do I begin? The answer is, right where you are. In your kitchen. In your daily walk. In that small decision to care for your legs, not out of fear, but out of love. Let's bring everything together, and map out your next step towards stronger legs, better balance, and the freedom to keep living fully. So, let's take a breath, and reflect on the journey we've just walked together. We began by uncovering the silent epidemic, how leg weakness sneaks into our lives, not as a dramatic event, but as a slow fade we often accept as just aging. But now you know better. You've discovered 7 powerful allies that can restore strength, balance, and vitality to your legs. Vitamin D, the sunlight fuel your muscles depend on. Calcium, the structural strength in every step. Vitamin B12, the nerve power that keeps you connected. Magnesium, the calming hand that eases cramps and restores movement. Potassium, the electric spark that keeps every fiber in sync. Vitamin K, the guide that ensures strength goes where it's needed most. Together, these nutrients don't just strengthen your body, they support your freedom, your confidence, your way of life. So where do you go from here? Start small. Start today. Add 1 leafy green to your lunch. Spend 10 minutes in the sun. Ask your doctor to check your vitamin levels at your next visit. Swap a snack for something rich in potassium. And most of all, listen to your body, not with fear, but with compassion. It's been speaking to you. Now you have the language to answer back. You are not fragile. You are not fading. Deep within you is strength that hasn't disappeared, it's simply waiting to be nourished. Every step you take toward health is a statement. I still have miles left to walk. I still have laughter left to share. I still have life left to live. Don't let fear write your story. Let strength, clarity, and knowledge carry you forward. One strong, steady step at a time. You deserve to move with freedom. You deserve to feel powerful in your own body again. And you can, starting today. Thank you for walking this journey with me. If this message spoke to your heart, share it with someone you love. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell. And let's keep building a stronger, healthier future, together. Until next time. Stand tall, move freely, and never stop believing in your strength.